Hey Insiders, welcome to this week's edition of Digital Display Insiders bonus video. I'm really excited to be here with you. I will tell you up front, I am dealing with this crud that's going around, and so my voice is a little different. I may cough a little bit here and there, but we're going to push through and get you some bonus content. So I wanted to dive in this week to what we talked about in the newsletter, and that's your CRM and your sales process or your salesperson. Now, with the CRM, the first thing that you really need to figure out, even whether you're going to be an owner acting as a sales role or hiring someone, you need a CRM or a customer relationship management software that will help you manage this sales process. If you're doing it yourself, you're going to be talking to dozens, if not hundreds of different people. And so you need a way to manage that and keep everything straight, because trust me, you cannot remember it all. And even an Excel spreadsheet is going to be tough over time to keep it all straight. And so if you're going to hire someone, you for sure need a way to monitor what they're doing, keeping track of the different calls and the emails and all the different things. And so one of the things, there's a couple that I recommend. And these are all three that I've either used or at least done trials on them. Actually, I think all three I've used at different points of our business. So your lowest cost one, I would recommend Pipeline Deals. That's going to be your lowest cost option. It's probably the easiest to set up and manage and actually use. So if you're a little bit technology challenged, I would not do the other two I'm going to recommend. Pipeline Deals is going to be the easiest for just getting up and going. But it's going to be a little more limiting than the others. And if you're going to integrate it with other softwares, you're probably going to need a secondary source like Zapier to integrate that with other software platforms. The other two that I'm using one right now. They're both very advanced softwares they're extremely robust, and they do a ton of stuff. They integrate with pretty much everything out there, and those are Salesforce and HubSpot. The downside is they are pretty complicated to set up. You need to be very proficient with technology and computers and know exactly how you want everything to lay out, and just be able to navigate that process. They are a little more complicated to use, but once you do learn how to use them, man, there's just a lot you can do with them. And so look at all three of them, go through each of their different pros and cons, but there's tons of them out there. Even if you don't choose one of these three, just find something that you can use that will help you through this process. Now, the bigger part of this is the actual sales process. And, just like all the other cornerstones, we could spend multiple days in an in-person training going through each one of these. And so what I'm going to talk about here in just a couple minutes won't even touch the tip of the iceberg, but I at least want to kind of give you a direction to get started in. And so one of the biggest decisions you have to make early on in this journey is, are you going to do this sales role or are you going to hire it done? If you're going to do it yourself, just some things to keep in mind. In the beginning, you're going to have to spend even from 20 to 40 hours a week just doing sales, because you need to get that engine rolling. This entire business depends on your sales pipeline, and your pipeline is an indicator of future business. And so it's not a situation where you buy your truck, you hang your shingle out, and all of a sudden people are calling you. It takes a significant amount of time to get the ball rolling, to get momentum, because again, most businesses aren't making their marketing decisions on a knee-jerk reaction basis. It's planned out, sometimes months or quarters at a time. And so you have to allow time to get in their sales process, to get in their process, and then allow that to cycle through. So, it's going to take you up to one to 1.5 years to get into some company's sales process, because they plan out annually. Others do quarterly, others do half a year. So just keep that in mind. It's going to take significant time building that up, getting everything going. It's not just about making the sales calls. You have to set up the system. You have to learn how to sell. Unless you have a long career doing sales, there's a lot to learn here, just in techniques and tonality and how you speak to customers, and the words you choose, the expressions you use. There's so much psychology and technique that go into being a good salesperson. And so some people can get sales in spite of themselves, but with some good training, they can really take that to a whole nother level if they can become aware of what their downfalls are and then improve on those. And so you need to just plan on investing in yourself, in training to make yourself better if you're going to be doing that role. If you do hire someone, same thing. You're going to have to invest in their development, and it's not cheap. So plan on making that financial investment and then working with them to hold them accountable to doing the training processes, and working with them through their training. This is going to include either online courses that you can buy, or there's a lot of live trainings out there that you can do. If you need recommendations on those, I can give you some of those. I mentioned this a minute ago, but with a new business, you're not coming into a system that's already going. You're starting from scratch, and so you have to do everything. Building the system is equally as part as calling a customer to ask for their business, because if you only focus on calling new customers in the beginning and never building out that system, you're going to very quickly learn that you're going to top out at your potential, because you're only going to achieve the level of your systems. And so if you have no system, you're always going to stay down here. If you can create the system as you sell, then your system will continue to allow for growth, and you can continue just growing and growing and growing. So you're not going to figure out the whole system immediately. There will be a lot of trial and error, but at least work on building out the system as you're doing the sales process. In addition to the actual selling, part of selling is your marketing plan, social media, your website, setting up a website that acts as a sales tool, not just a pretty brochure that most websites are. And here's a secret: don't go to a graphics designer to have your website built, because it will become just a brochure. It'll be pretty. It might sound good, but graphics designers are not salespeople. And at the end of the day, a great sales website will outperform a pretty website all day long. And so what I'm referring to is called a sales funnel, an online sales funnel. That's a whole different concept and framework from traditional WordPress websites. And so who you get to build your website is extremely important, because it needs to be built as a sales tool to help you in your process versus just being that brochure. It also means having consistent messaging across your website, your social media, and your sales process that you're doing. So it's just taking all that into account. If you're looking for a place to start, I'd say the person that's been the most influential for me in the last couple of years is Jeremy Miner from 7th Level. He's got a ton of content on YouTube. If you want to dip your toe in the water with him before you spend any money with him, see how you like his stuff. I think I mentioned this on the last one, but his book, The New Model of Sales, you can get this on Amazon, and his training course is going to be a deep dive into what's in this book. And so highly recommend that. There's another one I'm working on that if I can get some more information on him, I'll put this into the group later on in a separate video, but I wanted to clear it before I recommend him. So as far as the marketing piece of it, so your website, your social media, getting all that content, bar none, the person that's had the most influence on me and my business in the millions of dollars is Russell Brunson. He's the founder and co-founder of ClickFunnels software, but he has massive amounts of training out there. His first book that I'd recommend is .com Secrets. That's the first of 3 books in a trilogy. And I can tell you that trilogy book series, I came into his world when he was just introducing his second book in there in 2019. My car shipping business was doing about $2 million a year in revenue. I thought we were pretty well topped out, and that was going to be as big as we would grow. In the last 5 years, since completely changing my online marketing world to his frameworks, in the last 5 years, we've done $25 million in sales, and we just continue to grow more and more. We'll probably reach $50 million in total within the next 2 to 3 years. And so that trilogy book, I think I mentioned this again last week, is far more valuable than almost any formal education out there, and you can get it for a couple $100. So it should be a no-brainer. Get Russell Brunson's .com secrets. Start with that. I'll put the link down in the comments. I hope that's helpful. I mean, there's just so much I could talk about, and I could literally talk for hours on this, but this is supposed to be just a short video. So I hope these recommendations are helpful. If you have any questions, please put your comments down in this in the comments section, your questions. I'll get to those and answer those. And I just want to thank you for being an insider, and we will see you next week.